Okay, and welcome to this next tutorial. This is actually recorded after I recorded the bulk of this next video, mostly because I wanted to insert a disclaimer about my skill level in programming. I just wanted to say I am still a newbie. I'm not very good at programming yet. So there are still some mistakes that I make in the process of making these videos. But I decided to leave them in so that perhaps if someone sees me making a mistake and how I get through it, maybe that will be more of a learning opportunity than doing things perfectly the first try. So let's get it started. Let's see if I can kill all these guys. I think it's impossible, but okay. Alright, let's start it. Okay, so as I said before, we're going to start implementing some of Nape's features. So here we are in our project that we made last time, in our test state class. What we need to know about Nape is to get things moving. Basically, we need two objects. One is going to be our space. So this is where everything will exist, and the space will manage all the sort of physics and everything. So let's start by making that. So let's make it private variable my space. Wait. Well, I don't think there's any website using that name at the moment, so it should be all right. So we'll make this of class type space, and as you can see, Nape has a space class that we will bring in, and we will need a body to put inside of this, and just as to keep, you know, sort of in line with tradition. That's not the word I'm looking for. But anyways, private variables, put a little underscore before it. So let's do another private variable. This will be my body, which will be a Nape Fizz body. Okay, so when we start, let's make my space equal new space, and space is expecting a vector2 object, which will explain the gravity in this world. And I think if you guys know, let's take a look at what a vector2 object is. Here on the Nape project page, let's take a look at their documents. I got here by going to the wiki tab on the Nape project page, and then we have this first link, which will take us to the docs. And then let's click the API, which sort of explains how everything inside Nape works. And then, yeah, click API down at the bottom. So let's take a look at what a vector2 is. Vector2 is essentially just a x and a y coordinate, which is used to calculate, you know, movements in space and positions and things like that. So under geometry, we have the vector2, or vec2. Yeah, see, inside of it, it has an x value, a y value, a length, and an angle. So that will be very useful for calculating things. So for those of you who've forgotten your trigonometry or haven't studied it yet, this will make it a little bit easier to work with. So let's go back to Flash Develop and make a vector 3 or vector 2 for our space to show which way gravity is going. So we'll do a new vector 2, and then inside of this vector 2 we can do our control shift space. It's expecting our x and our y. So essentially x will determine if our gravity is going to be going side to side, which it will not be. So let's put 0. And y, up and down, we want it to go down, and the strength of our gravity is affected by this number. I find a good number is 98. I believe Nape works in pixels for its distances. Some other physics engines work in meters, so you'd actually put 9.8. But I find 98 works well enough, just to test anyway. So there is our gravity on our space. Next, let's make a body. So we have our my body. Oh, and here's another cool thing about Flash Develop. See, we have underscore my body, but if you just like type my body, look, it pops up there, and we can just highlight it and hit that. Flash Develop is awesome. So let's make a new body. So physics types body, and we open it up, and this is where we will put it. Let's put it in the middle of our stage. Luckily, FlixG has you know, the width and height of our Flixel game, so we can just use that, and FlixG.width divided by 2, FlixG.height divided by 2. So that means it's going to be put smack dab in the middle of our stage. So I think with that, we have our basic setup. So I think if we run it, you may notice there's nothing different. And why is that? That's because we don't have anything to show us what's there. So let's go very quickly into how to show things with Nape. What we're going to make is another private variable, and let's just call it debug, and it will be a debug, I believe. Or is it a shape debug? Nape dot. Actually, let's look at the Nape docs real quick. So let's go back out again. Yeah, it's under, I guess it's util debug. So let's go here, Nape util debug. No. We don't need that just yet. 1 second, I'll be right back. it looks like I've made a mistake. So before, when we downloaded Nape, I think the one that I downloaded did not have everything inside of it. So let's go ahead and download the FP10 with the release version. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm using in other versions. Let's save that and go back to our project and add a library asset. Let's add the release Nape, and then let's remove this one here. It removes the recycle bin. Okay, that's fine. So let's try this one more time. Let's see if we can import. Ooh, Japanese. Nape util debug. There it is. Whew. So now we have a debug object. So let's continue. Alright, so now that we have this debug object, let's add it. So debug will equal a new shape debug. And we'll put its width and height into our player. So this will actually render outside of Flixel, so we won't use our half values. So our width will be 800, height is 600, and the background color I'll leave as is. Okay. But another thing, since it is rendered outside of Flixel, we are going to need to add it directly to our stage. But we'll use Flixel to do that. So inside of FlixG, we have a reference to our stage, and we can add child shape our debug. And I believe display. I don't think that's a function. Let's take a look at the docs, just to be sure. So API util debug. We have a shape debug, so we'll go to shape debug. Yeah, let's look at the base debug. And display is a property, and it's a display object, so we don't need to make it a function. So if we click play again, I think we still won't see anything, but let's just make sure that everything is working properly. Oh, implicit coercion of type number to an unrelated Nape fizz body type. Okay. Number to unrelated body type. Oh, takes a body type. Let's see. Control Shift. Oh, I did that wrong. Oh, I think because I had the wrong version of Nape, the body is actually works differently. So we have a new body, and it needs a body type. So let's just what we can do is, I believe, if we just do new, let's see, I think body type. Right. So I believe under body, Okay. So what's a body type? So under the body type class, and I think as another tutorial shows this, but for some reason it never really sees body type. But if we do Control Shift 1, it will import body type automatically for us, and this will be a dynamic body type. And this is where we're going to put this body, which will be a vector 2. So we'll do a new, vector 2, and this we will put at the center of our stage. So we'll put flicks G width divided by 2, flicks G height divided by 2. So let's check that again, see what else was wrong. Oh, okay, great. So we don't have anything showing just yet, but everything is dandy. So with our Flixel, Flixel states have to update themselves. So they have a to do animations and things like that. So let's override a public function update and void. Oops. So update runs, I believe we set in our first thing, maybe right now the default is 60 frames per second, yeah, so that fires every frame, every step, So inside here we're going to do a few things with our debug to make it show up. So debug, let's take a look at the docs again real quick. Go to utilities, debug, and see we have draw, clear, and flush. What we're going to do is have the debug do that every frame. So I think we'll start by clearing, then we will maybe update, and then we will draw, and then we'll flush. So we'll go clear, draw, flush. So debug clear. Then we'll update here, and then we'll debug draw and debug flush. I'm not sure what flush does exactly. Commit any pending draw operations to the debugs graphic. For shape debug, this operation does nothing as any draw operations are committed immediately. So I guess we don't even need to use flush because we're using a shape debug. Yeah, let's just get rid of that then. Okay, so I think if we run it, oops, incorrect number of arguments. Where? to draw object. Really? Okay, so I took a look at the problem. So the reason why the draw is expecting something is there's nothing. It doesn't know what to draw. So we are going to draw my space. So now there's that. And again, you may notice that it's empty because we have yet to add our body to our space. So let's do that. So so you may be wondering, we have a body, but let's see, my body space equals my space. And let's see what happens. Still nothing. And why is that? It's because our body doesn't have a shape to it yet. It is merely a ghost in the ether of Nape. So let's make my body's shapes. We're going to add a new shape. And this shape, actually we won't add a new shape. Let's add shape. But we haven't made that yet, so it's not going to go anything. So let's add a new private variable, shape, which is a shape. And shape is going to equal a new shape. Imagine that. In shape, let's take a look at shape real quick. It's a shape. Shape. Ah. So as we see here, the shape class is just the base of either circle or polygon. So let's make our shape a circle. So let's say shape isn't just a shape, but it will be a circle. So shape will equal a new circle. And circle takes a radius. Let's say the radius is 16 pixels, so it'll be 32 pixels wide. And I think that's actually all we need to do. Yeah, it'll just be a 32 pixel wide circle. So now, when my body shapes add shapes, it has the shape, and then my body space equals the space that we have there. We should, I think, finally have something to look at. Oh, there it is. It's very hard to see on this background, so let's change the color to black. So alpha is full opacity, and then RGB is black, and let's take a look at that. There's our 32 pixel large circle. but you may have noticed it's not moving. We'll get that moving in the next video.